Hi, and welcome to part 2 of our Red Hat Linux System Administration course. I'm Darren Douglas. I'll be your instructor for this course. So let's provide a brief introduction about what you'll learn in our Red Hat Linux Administration course. Red Hat is a registered trademark of Red Hat Incorporated, and Linux is a registered trademark of Linus Torvalds, the original author of the Linux kernel. For this course, we're going to look at a few things. First, we'll learn to perform the tasks of a Red Hat Linux system administrator. We've already done some of that in part 1, but we'll continue that learning process here in part 2. Specifically, we're going to learn topics unique to the management of Red Hat-based Linux distributions. What that means is that Linux or system administrators throughout different operating system environments perform similar tasks, but what's unique to managing Red Hat Linux systems as opposed to other Linux distributions or even Windows machines? We'll talk about those topics. Now, additionally throughout, please follow along and try to do some of the exercises and demonstrations that are provided in the courseware, as well as the ones that I do as part of the modules. These real-world examples and exercises, especially here in part 2 with storage management, virtual memory, and other networking concepts, having hands-on experience with those is really important to you having a good learning experience with this course. So please attempt those and feel free to ask any questions if you have problems. In this course, we're going to learn how to configure software RAID, manage and configure virtual memory, or what we'll call swap memory. We'll configure and use two different types of network storage, NFS and Samba. Also, we'll learn how to manage system network interfaces and resolve host names. We'll schedule jobs and perform backups using the cron tool, and we'll also use the @ command. We'll also learn to select the most secure tools for system administration tasks. Using the most secure tool to accomplish different jobs and also learning how to harden the servers is really important for a system administrator to have a strong grasp of. So we'll talk about both of those. Here are some prerequisites that will help you to be successful in this course. First of all, you'll need to have taken Linux Essentials, where you learn the basics of how to use Linux and get around in Linux, learn about the command line. You'll need that basic course, but also you'll need to take part 1 of this course. In part 1, we talk about concepts such as disk partitioning, logical volume manager. Those are two things that will be critical to discussions of the virtual memory and swap, critical to the discussion of software RAID that we'll have in this class. So again, make sure you take part 1 before you attempt part 2. Also, practical experience using a Linux or Unix operating system, the use of command line tools to navigate files and directories, being comfortable modifying text files. All of those are part of the everyday job of a Linux system administrator. So please make sure that you're comfortable doing that. If you're not, make sure you go back to part 1. And in one of our very first modules, there's a review where I walk you through some of those tools, remind you how to use relative and absolute path names, how to use different commands to view file contents, and how to edit files. And once you get comfortable with that, attempt all the exercises and you should be okay. Lastly, a basic understanding of TCP/IP networking is also helpful. Especially here in part 2, we're going to be modifying network interfaces, doing some slightly advanced things like IP aliasing, and understanding the basics of TCP/IP networking will help you. Here are the specific modules we'll take a look at. We'll look at software RAID. We'll consider swap, two network storage, two different ways to manage network storage, NFS and Samba, user management, groups, quotas, and access control lists. Additionally, we'll consider networking, job scheduling and network time, system logging and backup, X and desktop managers, system security, printing and directory services. Now, where does this class fit into the overall curriculum path? Well, here's how it fits into the GoGo curriculum path. First of all, you will have already taken Linux Essentials, or you're already familiar with the essentials of how to run Linux. And now we're here in part 1 and now part 2 of Linux System Administration. From here, you could take a parallel level course, specialize your skills, and learn how to administer a web server in Linux. Or you can continue a little bit deeper in the path and learn Bash and Corn shell scripting. I highly advise doing either, specializing your skills as an administrator, or perhaps learning Bash and Corn shell scripting. In this class, you'll definitely learn some nice power tools that will make you a better system administrator, or at least more efficient. Remember that you can download lab exercises from the paperclip link. If you have any questions or comments, please make sure to use the question and comment box. And let's get started with our course.